And now, as the lights go down at the Belasco Theater in New York, here, speaking for the Theater Guild, one of America's foremost theatrical producers, is our guest narrator, the rising young Broadway star, Elliott Reed.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The Theater Guild on the Air is especially proud and privileged tonight, as this occasion marks the world premiere on radio of Tennessee Williams' The Glass Menagerie. We are proud, too, that the starring roles of Amanda Wingfield and her son, Tom, will be played by Helen Hayes and Montgomery Clift. Miss Hayes, a too infrequent guest on our program, and Mr. Clift paying a most welcome first visit. Joining them in the featured roles of the gentleman caller and the daughter Laura are Carl Malden and Catherine Bard. The actors are on the stage, a baton is poised over the musicians, and so we raise the curtain on The Glass Menagerie, adapted for this program by Robert Anderson and directed by Homer Fickett.
The story is memory. Memory of a tenement down a back alley near a streetcar line. Streetcars stopping, starting all night long. Down a back alley next to a dance hall. A tenement you entered or left by 2 steps up or down a fire escape. A structure whose name was a touch of accidental poetic truth, for the building was always burning with the slow fires of human desperation. I'm a character in this story. The other characters are my mother, Amanda, a little woman of great but confused vitality, clinging frantically to another time and place.
Sometimes there weren't enough chairs to accommodate all the gentlemen callers who came to see me over Sunday afternoon. I declare we often had to send a servant over to bring in folding chairs from the parish house.
And my sister, Laura, crippled slightly, limping from a childhood illness, and separated from life until she was like a piece of her own little glass collection, too exquisitely fragile to move from the shelf.
Oh, I don't sit around doing nothing. My glass collection takes up a good deal of time. Glass is something you have to take care of.
Later in the story, a gentleman caller appears. He is the most realistic character, being an emissary from a world of reality that we were somehow set apart from. There is a 5th character who doesn't appear. That is our father, who left us long ago. He was a telephone man who fell in love with long distance. The last we did hear from him, we got a picture postcard from Mazatlan on the Pacific coast of America, containing a message of 2 words: hello, goodbye, and no address.
Tom, honey, don't push with your fingers. And chew. Chew. Animals have secretions in their stomachs which enable them to digest their food without chewing, but human beings are supposed to chew their food before they swallow it down. So you chew your food and give your salivary glands a chance to function.
Salivary glands. Animal secretions. I haven't enjoyed one bite of this meal. You're constantly telling me I ought to eat slow. I ought to swallow this way. I have actually sick to my stomach.
Temperament like a metropolitan star. You're not excused from this table.
I'm getting a cigarette.
You smoke too much.
I'll bring the blancmange now, Mother.
Laura, no, sister, now. You're going to be the lady this time, and I'll be the servant.
I'm already up, Mother.
Well, resume your seat, little sister. I want you to stay fresh and pretty for gentlemen callers. I'll get the dessert.
I'm not expecting any gentlemen callers, Mother.
Sometimes they come when you least expect them. Well, I remember one Sunday afternoon in Blue Mountain.
I know what's coming.
Yes, but let her tell it. She loves to tell it.
I remember that Sunday afternoon in Blue Mountain when your mother received 17 gentlemen callers. Why, sometimes there weren't enough chairs to accommodate them all.
Well, how did you entertain all those gentlemen callers?
With conversation about things of importance going on in the world. Never anything common or coarse or vulgar. My callers were gentlemen, all. Among my callers were some of the most prominent men on the Mississippi Delta. There was Hadley Stevenson, who was drowned in Moon Lake and left his widow $150,000 in government bonds. There was Bates Couture, my bright particular beau. He got in a quarrel with that wild Wainwright boy. They shot it out on the floor of Moon Lake Casino. His widow was well provided for, too. Then there was that beautiful, brilliant young Fitzhugh boy from Greene County.
What did he leave his widow?
He never married. What's the matter with you? You talk as if all my old admirers had turned up their toes to the daisies. And I could have been Mrs. J. Duncan Fitzhugh, mind you. And what did I do? I picked your father.
Oh, Mother, let me clear the table.
No, dear, now, you go on in and study your typewriter chart or practice your shorthand a little. You stay fresh and pretty. It's almost time for our gentlemen callers to start arriving. Now, how many do you suppose you're going to entertain this afternoon, huh?
I don't believe we're going to receive any, Mother.
What? Not one? Not one? Oh, you must be joking. Not one gentleman caller? Well, what's happened? Has there been a tornado or a flood?
It isn't a flood. It's not a tornado, Mother. I'm just not popular like you were in Blue Mountain.
Oh, nonsense. I don't believe it.
Oh, let me help, Mother.
No, you stay right there. Now, you stay fresh and pretty. And, dear, you brush your hair a little. I noticed that it needed brushing.
You know, Tom, Mother's afraid I'm going to be an old maid.
Mother was afraid, and her way of coping with the possibility that Laura should be an old maid was to enroll her in a business college. One day, after a visit to the school to check on her daughter's progress, she came home to confront Laura.
Laura Wingfield, where have you been going when you've gone out pretending that you were going to secretarial school?
Mother, I
don't lie to me. I stopped by the school today to see how you were doing. And what do they tell me? That you haven't been attending for weeks. And that your hand shook so that you couldn't hit the right keys on the typewriter. And that you were sick to your stomach the first time they gave you a speed test. And after that, you never showed up again.
Oh, please, Mother,
Where have you been going?
I've just been going out walking.
Walk? From 7:30 till after 5 every day, you mean to tell me that you were going out walking because you wanted me to think that you were still going to secretarial school?
Sometimes I went inside places to get warmed up, the art museum and the birdhouses at the zoo.
You did all this to deceive me, just for deception. Why?
I couldn't face it.
So, what are we going to do now for the rest of our lives, huh? Stay home and watch the parades go by? Amuse ourselves with a glass menagerie? Oh, I know so well what becomes of unmarried women who aren't prepared to occupy a position. Barely tolerated spinsters living on the grudging patronage of some sister's husband or brother's wife, encouraged for one in-law to go visit another in-law. Is that the future we've mapped out for ourselves? Is it?
I don't know what to say.
Of course, some girls do marry. Haven't you ever liked some boy?
Yes, I liked one.
Who did?
His name was Jim, in high school.
Oh, a high school boy.
He used to call me Blue Roses.
What did he call you a silly name like that for?
But when I had that attack of pleurosis, he asked me what was the matter when I came back, and I said pleurosis, and he thought that I said blue roses.
Girls that aren't cut out for a business career usually wind up married to some nice young man. Sister, that's what you'll do.
But, Mother...
What?
I'm crippled.
Don't say that word. I've told you never to use that word. You're not... You just have a little defect that's hardly noticeable even.
That's not true. When I walk...
And when people have some slight disadvantage like that, they cultivate other things, to make up for it. You develop charm and vivacity and charm. That's all you have to do, and then you won't have any trouble in finding a husband.